Hey guys, welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy the Comics Guy, aka Brian, aka the guy who just moved to a new place. So when you look behind me on the YouTube video, you'll notice things are a little bit different. And the sound might be a little weird because of where I'm recording now, and everything in this house is a hardwood floor or surface. Hopefully we can get that fixed. I'm thinking about creating my own podcast studio here in the garage because there's this little closet. I just got to figure out how to cleanse it of evil spiders, the weather, and Texas summers. So yeah, that's probably going to be $1 million just to drain into that. Anyway, guys, we got some really cool stuff with the Nifty Nerd News. Up first, though, we want to talk a little bit about a show called Comicpalooza that's coming at you May 10th through the 12th. Of course, I'm going to be there. We've already talked about, if you follow any of my social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything's at Bry-Fy Podcast, Bryfy Podcast. On there, we talked about how on Friday I'm doing my live show on the con floor. That's at 6 p.m. at the podcast booth. You can't miss it. It's in the big middle aisle. I'll be there. Come stop, say hi, and we'll have a good time. 6 p.m. for that. My friend Walker the Geek is actually going on at 5 p.m., and I've kind of hinted at I might stop in and just ruin his podcast. And he's all for that, and so we could do that, maybe team up. Yeah, he's got a cool panel going on at 6:30, so if he'll let me, if he's listening to this, maybe we can join up team forces for the live show and have a lot of fun with that, and then we can all go to the panel and have a lot of fun. I don't know, we'll figure that out. And then my panel is on Sunday, where me, Walker, if he's able to make it, Keisha from the Libra Lounge, and Rob from Random Ramblings with Rob, we're all doing a how to host a solo podcast show, because we all do solo podcasts, and I thought that'd be interesting. A lot of people who always talk about podcasting and stuff, they're always with teams, like a group of people, 2 or more, and sometimes not everyone can do that, and there are challenges with doing your own solo show, and I thought we would share some of that. That's going to be at noon on May 12th. That's Sunday, the last day of the convention. So hopefully you guys can make it to that. Anyway, other news with Comicpalooza and part of the Nifty Nerd News comes from ESPN, which is crazy, right? Comics and sports. Well, we have esports, and that's why this gets tied in together. Well, ESPN just announced the Collegiate Esports Championship, and they're having it May 10th through 12th, and if you can guess, they're hosting it at Comicpalooza, which is really awesome. Comicpalooza has really been stepping up their game with esports. They had one of the Texas teams from the E-League, like the Overwatch Esports League, come and showcase a lot of their stuff. They had it set up where anyone could come play, but in that cool esports arena type setup, which is really awesome. With this, it's going to be universities all coming together for this big national championship, which should be tons of fun to see. They're playing games like Overwatch, Street Fighter V, Hearthstone, StarCraft 2, and Heroes of the Storm. And it's just, I think this is really awesome. This is really cool getting to see this because, we have professional esports teams, and now we're getting to see it at the collegiate level and get some recognition for professional esports. So that's really awesome. Seeing ESPN there, maybe their cameras show up. Maybe you can be on camera, be on ESPN, hey dad, look at me. You know that channel you watch all the time and ignore me with? I'll be on it now. And that could be really cool. I don't know. Another nifty nerd news, huge nifty nerd news, all the simoleons nifty nerd news is Avengers Endgame, which I haven't seen yet. Do not spoil it for me, or I will turn this podcast around and you'll never hear from me again. No. So Avengers Endgame has opened up to the biggest opening domestic and world of pretty much any movie. I think any movie ever. And domestically, it opened up to $356 million. One weekend, it made more money than any movies make in their entire lifetime. Every movie ever makes in its entire lifetime. The only movie to make more money than Avengers Endgame is Titanic. No, I think it's beaten Titanic at this point. No, it hasn't. Because Titanic, I think, was 2.02 billion in its lifetime. Avatar was even more than that. So it's Avatar, Titanic, and now Avengers Endgame. And Endgame's only been out for one weekend. Crazy. Internationally, it made $1.2 billion. That's Dr. Evil money. Holy frick, man. As far as I can tell with everything that I've seen online about it with no spoilers, it's the best Marvel movie to date. It's a great Avengers movie. It totally satisfies everyone who's seen it, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Of course, I haven't even seen Captain Marvel yet, so I need to really watch that, even though I kind of already know. And I'm not a big like spoiler freak, honestly. I think Avengers Endgame is the only one that I'm like, no. But for Captain Marvel, I pretty much know how it all breaks down and how she fits in and everything. So I'm pretty stoked to just go see it. Plus, me and my wife have free movie tickets, so we should just go see it anyway. Right, baby? That's right. She's hanging out with RJ right now over on the couch. And the last bit of nifty nerd news, kind of some fun stuff, actually. You ever heard of that movie called Alien, by Ridley Scott? It's pretty popular. Well, it turns out a high school in New Jersey decided to adapt his movie Alien as a play. And a pretty dang legit play, if I might add. You can actually look it up. The website that I found it was birthmoviesdeath.com. And the video, it got so popular, someone actually recorded the whole thing and put it on YouTube. So I'm sure if you just type in high school play Alien, it will pop up. But it took people by storm. Everyone was so stoked on it. It got so big that Ridley Scott got wind of it, and he actually, to help them keep the play going for more people to see it, he donated $5,000 to the school, which, I mean, Ridley Scott money, that's like chump change. So he probably could have given more, but he gives them $5,000 to kind of, keep like an encore show going. And in fact, they had a super awesome special guest show up to one of the showings. Sigourney Weaver showed up, like gave a speech before the play, clapped for it, like got to meet the cast and stuff. Like, that's some epic stuff. The video on YouTube is actually like an hour and 20 minutes long. I don't know. It's a long video, but it's Alien. Like, you're watching Alien in a play format done by a high school troupe. And don't get me wrong, the audio and video quality is not top notch. It's literally someone recording it on their cell phone in the theater, but that's freaking badass, man, and it has me really stoked. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the nifty nerd news stuff that I wanted to bring up for you guys this week. If you stick around and listen to the regular podcast, we're going to talk about a comic book from another Comicpalooza guest, which is something I've started to do these past few weeks. This time we're looking at one by Magdalene Visaggio, and she did one comic that I know of that's on the Marvel Unlimited app. Well, she did a few like short stories, but one full comic credit, and that's Dazzler #1, a new Dazzler series that never took off. It's like they did a #1, and then, she'll appear in X-Men, like Dazzler will appear again in X-Men #14, which kind of sucks because I kind of like the direction Mags was taking. Sorry, that's kind of like her shorthand on Twitter. Mags Visaggio was taking with Dazzler, and I would love to talk to her at Comicpalooza about it. Hopefully I get to moderate a panel or just get a chance to meet her. That would be so awesome, really great. So I'm pretty stoked for that. But so stick around for the podcast for my review on that. But that's it for the nifty nerd news, guys. Like I said, follow me on all my social media. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, everything's at Bry-Fy podcast. At Bry-Fy podcast, Bryfy podcast. You can email me at bryfypodcast@hotmail.com. And you can just find me all over the place. Xbox Live, Nintendo Switch, everything is Bry-Fy Pod on my gaming stuff. So thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube. Let's head over to Podbean, where you can check out the rest of the podcast. Or Spotify, or Google Play, or Apple Podcasts. All those great things. So catch y'all later.